Okay, the recording has started. Welcome everyone to the first session of Dream Askew for Love as Strong as Death, because I just love a bit of Bible verse sometimes. This was organized through the Gauntlet, an online gaming group of old school revival stuff, PBTA stuff, belonging outside belonging, like this game of Dream Askew. Yeah, a lot of fun. We've already gone through setting and character creation, so now we're just going to go around and introduce each other, or introduce ourselves. I'm not going to make you introduce me. And then do lines and veils. Okay, so I'm Kyle, he, they. I sort of facilitated this. I'm not the GM, it's a GM-less game. I am playing Fagin. Named after the Oliver Twist character, Fagin, who, because I can't resist a terrible pun. Basically, she has a bunch of kids working as delivery people and carrying things and all sorts of stuff like that, and someone called her that, and she thought it sounded cool and stuck with it. Pronouns are she, her. My characters are he, they. The character's pronouns are she, her. And her gender is Raven. Now, you may say Raven looks like high femme goth, but I insist it's different somehow. And yeah, she is the hawker. She manages her kids who run deliveries and her adult workers, who she also calls her kids, who provide companionship of various kinds, which is not looked down on in this setting. All right, and next I'll go character keeper order to Puckett.
All right, I am Puckett. I use he, him pronouns. Tonight I'll be playing Sella, who uses she, her pronouns. Her gender, such as it is Cyberdyke. Part of that is because she prefers the company of women. Part of that is because she has a prosthetic leg. Part of that is because she is used to hacking things to make them work and to try to do whatever she can to improve our lives down here. That isn't always a lot, but Sella always tries.
Sounds good. Chris? You're muted.
All right, I'm Chris. My pronouns are he, him. I'm playing Glover, whose pronouns are he, him. He's the tiger. He's the enforcer and guarantor of community safety, such as it is. His gender is raptor, and he leads the dragonflies. That's our gang.
Great. Bethany?
Yeah, I'm playing Lark, who's the Arrival playbook, who has, I think, been a member of other enclaves at various times, and it hasn't worked out for various reasons. Their gender is void. Use they them pronouns, although they probably don't really care. So I had that they had a prosthetic leg, but I don't want to copy Puckett, so I may change that. If they do, it is definitely not cyber anything. They have a dog who just kind of like isn't particularly well trained, but as I put on the character sheet, you know, she's been my only friend for years at a time. So like, you know, she goes where I go. And I try to keep her from jumping on people. Until recently, I was a scavenger, sort of just wandering outside of wherever this habitation we're in is. But I came here because I heard that there was someone here who could reprogram nanobots and would do that for people who were not necessarily members of her or any society. And I needed some help with that, so that's why I'm here. My relationships are with the people I fled from, and the other one, I put the first person to offer me a stiff drink, but that doesn't have to be the one. There's, no, actually, that's probably the best option.
Great. Daryl.
Hello. I'm Daryl. My pronouns are he, him, and I am playing Diamond, whose pronouns are also he, him. Diamond is the iris, which in this game is described as an unnerving individual. Their power is mysterious, ephemeral, and unprecedented. So their gender and looks are that they are also void gender. So Diamond was assigned male at birth, and at least for his interpretation of void, what that means is that when he hit puberty, he didn't really necessarily feel like a man. He just kind of started to feel empty inside and like hollow, hence the void part. And maybe that's like figurative, maybe it's literal, who knows. He has an angular face, calculating eyes, a slender weapon concealed carefully, and wears an outfit made of leather. It's good for doing parkour across the girders and rafters that make up our little enclave. Because he is the iris, he has 2 psychic gifts, which are brain whispers and astral travel. But that also came with the price that the psychic maelstrom told him that I could swallow their pain away. Having a real tough time figuring out what that means. Their key relationships are, there is the recently exiled elder, who is a influential void individual who was exiled for profiting off of his followers' tithings, and a wasteland mercenary named Violetta who makes use of my talents.
Great. And for our enclave, we decided it would be sort of the... in this situation, we decided that sort of AI or set of AIs had made a really nice place to live for the elites, and then there's all of us who just didn't have a place in it or weren't worth bringing in, something like that. And we sort of live at the base and in the infrastructure for the nice place. And the visuals we picked were mutant plants blooming, glass and concrete for all the buildings and things we sort of live in. Synanthropes, which is a new word I learned, wild species or animals that live near and benefit from humans and artificial habitats. Because we've been talking about nanobot kudzu, some sort of plant-machine hybrid that's been growing in through here, and one hell of an invasive species, which can be sort of used for some cool things, lots of fun nanobots running around. And also a truly enormous elevator station with levels of society joined together by elevators. The conflicts we decided on for within the Enclave is the use of violence, gender abolition, and barriers to access. And next I'm going to talk about safety. So we're talking about lines. We settled on lines and veils. Lines being things that simply do not occur in this setting. Veils being things that will occur, but sort of off screen. The sort of situation where the camera fades to black. For lines, we've put a line on cannibalism, pandemics, detailed description of blunt force head trauma. So yeah, keep that sort of thing vague, or I guess not happen at all. Just, we can talk about that as the situation comes up, but, be careful about that sort of thing and don't. Harm to domestic animals, excessive grieving, fridging, homophobia, incest, which I would think goes without saying, but it's on the list. Seducing someone while disguised, self-harm. Okay, that's a good thing to know there's a line on. Sexual assault and suicide. For Vale, things that we can include, but should keep off screen. We've got body horror, which is going to come up with some of the things we've talked about nanomachines doing. Consensual sexual activity, drug use, addiction or overdose, endangerment or harm to children, eye injuries, graphic injuries, kink, police misconduct or brutality. We don't really, at least I don't think we've talked about having police exactly in this setting. Did we want to do police, or I guess just keep awareness of brutality by authority, whoever that happens to be in this situation. Veil on slavery and torture. And people wanted to ask first for homophobia also has a line on it, so I think that the line trumps that. And we're going to sort of ask and talk through situations with loss of personal autonomy, permanent injury, racism, sexism, or transphobia. Okay, and feel free to add more lines or veils, or upgrade a veil to a line or anything like that whenever you'd like. But please say so or drop a line in the chat so we know about the updated system. Also, there is the X card and N card. The X card, you can just say X or do a little X with your hands or put an X in the chat to just this is hard line, but we aren't doing this. And, we aren't going to ask why that's a limit, just going to say, we might clarify what the problem is exactly, but we're not going to get into why it's a limit, and just sort of go back a bit and do the scene again so it doesn't cross any lines. The N card is sort of the caution sign, the yellow light, to be like, we can keep going a little bit, but just be careful. Let's talk this through as we go. And if you don't remember the code words, feel free to just say, hey, can we talk this out, or can we change this? Anything you'd like. I promise, no matter what, we can talk this through and be cool about this. All right. And that does the safety tools. Last thing is, in addition to our own player characters, we're also going to be handling elements of the world, like the varied scarcities, the psychic maelstrom, the intact society, things like that. One bit of advice I picked up from playing this system before is, if you want to pick up, sometimes we have to put down a setting and stop handling that if we would be interacting with ourselves, essentially. So if you want to pick up the setting in that situation, don't be afraid. Just be like, oh yeah, I'd like to pick that up just right away, if you like. I mean, politeness is great, but we're good. Okay. Any questions from you all? Questions, comments, anything to add?
Do we need to check desires for the world elements, or do you want to handle that as it comes up?
Desires?
Yeah, on the world tab, like under Psychic Maelstrom, it says player, and then there's 2 spaces with drop-down menus for desire.
Oh, you're right. We should settle that on that now. Thank you.
Or we could do the first time somebody picks it up, but if you want to do it now, that's cool.
Actually, I think you're right. Let's figure that out the first time we pick it up, if that works for you,
Works
Puckett.
for me. Yeah.
Great. Okay. So, the tough question now is, where do we start? Anyone have a fun idea for a scene they'd like to start out with?
Do we want to do the ask left questions?
Thank you for pointing that out. Yes. I'm sorry, I stopped mid-process and...
That might give us some ideas for where to start.
Yes. Let's go in character keeper order. So start with you, Daryl, and you would ask, let's say the person to the left of you in the character keeper. So for you, Daryl, that would be Bethany.
Alrighty. So, Lark, since you're new here, how have I unsettled you in recent days? Everyone else is probably used to me, but how about you?
I've had some dealings with the Psychic Maelstrom before, and in fact, I think I deliberately inhaled or ate or drank or injected or whatever these nanobots that are now causing me problems in order to get rid of it. So I think like you just how do you feel about the Psychic Maelstrom? Is this a thing that you're like completely cool with? Okay, I'm the Iris. This is great, or is this a
Oh, I definitely embrace it. So if you're trying to
Yeah,
fix
I'm
it,
a little
that's a
creeped out
good
by that
counterpoint.
because like I hated it when it was yeah. I have every contact I've had with the Psychic Maelstrom has been at most or at best terrifying.
Okay, that sounds good.
All right. So Lark, what's your question for Glover?
Hmm. Well, I think why do you wish I had never arrived seems like a pretty obvious one for someone who's like guarding. So I'm gonna go with what was the first thing you noticed about me?
The first thing I noticed about you was Smokey.
Okay.
Because I like to be aware of anything that runs faster than I can.
Okay.
Cool.
Great. So what's your question to the left?
For me, for Glover, for Sella, why don't you trust me?
Because you're a fucking murderer.
Fair.
There are better ways to handle such things. You don't have to just toss people off the platforms. We could talk.
Sometimes there are better ways to handle things. Sometimes it's just what it comes down to.
There is always a better solution than violence.
I like to think that people that I never have to see again are solved problems. But we can get into that for sure.
Oh, I'm sure we will. Anytime you want to come by my greenhouse and you want to talk ethics or morals, please do.
Nice. Sela, what's your question for me?
Sella's question, is it Fagin or Fagin or
Whichever.
Okay.
I like Fitchin, but whatever.
Yeah, I was just asking because it's like it's so what broken thing do you have that I could fix? Is it yourself?
Oh. I wasn't what I was thinking, but I do kind of like the idea because I was tooling around with the idea that Fei Jin had used to be one of the delivery kids that she now manages until a bad fall or something hurt her own leg in a way that she just couldn't do the job anymore. And seeing your own prosthetic, yeah, maybe you could get her back into the business, I guess. Does that sound good?
That sounds fine, but I think there's more to fixing you than just that. But that's okay. Everybody moves at their own pace.
Nice. That's a good follow-up. Right. So my question for Diamond. How are you integral to my supply line?
I think that, with the ability to like hear the secrets of other people. I have saved your bacon on more than one occasion by having you reroute something so that you didn't get raided or that nanobots didn't take it or something.
That sounds great, because yeah, one of the things I provide is surveillance or information. So yeah, I'm always in the market for more, knowledge. Thank you. Okay, so now that we've got the basics of our relationship settled out, any scene leaving out anyone?
I'm kind of curious about this delivery network and maybe how Diamond helps Phage in, or, maybe something's gone missing.
That sounds interesting, because I do have a relationship with some of the elite society types who come down here to slum it. Maybe one of them asked my kids to go find something rare, something invaluable, even up there, and the kid went missing along the way. Do people think that sounds good?
Cool by me.
All right. In that case, I think Feijin would probably go to talk with either Diamond to try to get some information, or maybe Glover to make sure that your gang hadn't, grabbed any of my kids. Have we had problems with that? I mean, you're a gang. Do you just let my kids go through? What do you think?
Oh, I'm here to protect your kids. I'm all that stands between your kids and the swarms of nanobots and fucking people. I think that I like to say that this is my neighborhood. Everybody here is protected. Everybody who belongs here. Not sure about you yet, Mark, but I'm sure you're fine.
And you do that all out of the goodness of your heart?
No, God, no. I think there's I think there's definitely some of your supply line that I skim. Not well, I mean your angels, but also the stuff that you bring in from the people at the top. Yeah, so it's yeah, all this costs money. Well, something, not money. Fuck money. But yeah.
All right. In that case, I think Feijin will probably go talk to Diamond to try to get some psychic insight to the situation. If anyone else would like to introduce your own character or an NPC, or I feel like the situation might involve the psychic maelstrom pretty quickly, or any of the other elements, really. So, actually, first question for you, Diamond, is do you make Feijin go to you, or do you visit her at her sort of headquarters, as it were?
I see myself as more of a free agent, so I think that you're going to have to find me wherever I'm at. Fortunately, my drinking habits are fairly well known throughout the enclave, so if it's Tuesday, I must be at that particular bar down the way.
Okay. So, yeah, what are you doing in this bar? Like, just nursing a drink or talking to folks? What are you doing before Feijin walks in?
Oh, I'm playing poker with someone who is a relative newbie and doesn't realize that I just close my eyes and look through their eyes at their cards.
Nice trick. And I think, yeah, as you're doing that, you probably hear a few little buzz of conversation pick up as the door opens and Phajin walks in. Makeup and hair perfect, clothes clean, and like good repair lace, the kind they just don't make anymore, at least not down here. And actually still proper black, which, I mean, normally that fades so quick. Proper black it's a big show of wealth, that's what I'm saying. And, she's, moving slowly, dignified, like, oh, yes, it's good to see you again. I remember you, sort of glad handing her way through the crowd. But I think you probably know her well enough to know she's, in a bit of a hurry. Well, in a hurry, and something's nervous. She wouldn't have hauled her way over here with her, like, bad knee all the way up here unless it was a big deal.
Mm. Yeah, I think that just as you managed to mosey your way over to my table, I just scoop the winnings over to me, like before the person has even played their hand, and I just throw the cards down on the table and start putting in a bag, and I just, without even look at you, say, "Not again, Phajin."
Are you certain you haven't changed your mind? There's no way I could convince you?
You never pay on time, and you always try to find some way to beg a discount.
Well, we're such good friends, aren't we?
I don't plan to continue working on credit.
Fair enough. Do you know why I'm here?
I've heard some rumors here and there. Heard a couple of whisperings in people's brains, but why don't you tell me?
One of the high society types. Oh, actually, that was a one-off comment. But do we want to actually call the elites who live above us high society, and that they're literally high up?
I'm down for it.
Sure.
One of the high society types came down with a special request, something from out there where the nanos run a bit wild. And, well, I sent some good kids to get it, and they haven't come back yet. Are they alive? I need to know. And where are they?
You know that it's hard for me to reach out further than a couple of feet away. How am I supposed to just sense if they're alive? That's dangerous.
Ooh. I think I'm going to play a weak move and beg for mercy. Sort of leaning close to you, and this sort of the reserved, calm, not controlled, sort of elegant mask kind of breaks a bit. And she leans in and it's like, look, anglers out there, okay? They're a new kid. They're just. I was looking out for them. I promised them they would be okay. I need them to be okay. If there's anything I could do for them, and I didn't because I just didn't know. Name your price. I need this.
I think this is probably a little out of character for you. You're usually such a hard ass about everything that I'm a bit taken aback. And I think I'm also going to use a weak move, which is to cave to someone else's desires. And I realized that I could probably extort you here, but that it would be bad business. So I think I'd just say my usual rate plus 3%.
Deal. And if you're reaching out with your senses, I think someone needs to pick up the psychic maelstrom.
If nobody else wants to, I'll get weird.
Go for it.
All right. Psychic maelstrom it is. So this is when we establish the desires. Is that what we depended on?
I think so, yeah.
Okay. Or
Yeah.
excuse me, decided. I think I said depended. Okay. Looks like one
Maybe fervent intimacy.
as opposed to human dependence.
Not entirely sure what the difference is, but yeah.
So my thinking as an entity that is fundamentally unknowable is almost like symbionts, the Trill in Star Trek. The psychic maelstrom wants to bond with people and be brought into our world, and is looking for people willing to do that, even though it may come at a high cost to them.
This sounds super risky for Diamond.
Yeah, that whole being hollow on the inside thing probably makes me a prime candidate for this.
Yeah.
So, are we all okay with these ideas?
Yep.
Okay.
Okay, so I think at this point then what I'm going to do is I'm going to use one of my strong moves to use my psychic gifts with artful precision. Yeah, one to spend one. Yeah, so I think that what happens is that Diamond like doesn't even like let Feijin like say anything more, just kind of like walks up a stairwell and then like out onto the rooftop of this bar. And then like there's probably like I imagine there's like a radio antenna or something, and like he climbs up on top of that, does like some sort of stupid somersault or something to like stand on it with like, you know, one boot or something, and then just kind of like closes his eyes and attunes himself to the maelstrom and like starts to try to sift through all of the frequencies to see if I can find what was his name? Angler.
Their name, I think, they, them, I guess. Angler?
Yeah. Angler. I'm looking for Angler.
The first thing that happens is everyone in the bar below you suddenly gets something that's adjacent to a migraine. And it's like this head-splitting pain accompanied by a vision of the worst thing they've ever seen.
Is this bleeding psychic instability into the immediate area?
Oh, absolutely. So you're using it with precision, but the cost of that precision is that it's kind of like pouring just enough water into a cup to get that nice little lip of cohesion above the rim. But if anything breaks that cohesion, the water goes everywhere. Doesn't matter if it's a toothpick.
So good luck.
Yes.
Oh, you're fine. The people below you, including Fei Jin, they're having some issues.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't care about them though, and I pick up their static. I hear like the buzzing in their brains as they relive these terrible like memories that they tried so hard to put away, and I just kind of almost like seem to like push it away with my mind, and I reach out further away from the core of the tower, whatever structure is, and I reach out into like the wastes to start trying to pick out between the hum of the nanobots, between the cries of like whatever animals are surviving out there. I listen for sentient thought.
The worst thing isn't that you pick up sentient thought. The worst thing is that there is significantly less sentient thought out there than you're used to. It's just not there. You're used to a low-level hum of biologic activity. And there's just these huge expanses of silence where there should be something. But you do pick up faintly an entity that you think might be Angler. Farther out than, well, even people from the Enclave go. I mean, the city kids never go out there. But even the Enclave kids looking for adventure or trying to find something cool don't go out that far. And Anglo's just past that. This is the edge of your perception, basically.
Yeah. I focus in real hard, and I try to use the second part of my brain whispers, which is if I focus real hard, I can whisper back to them. And I say, get your ass home. Mother's calling.
And you get a weak response. I'm hurt. Bleeding real bad. Tell Mother I may not make it back for dinner. And then there's silence.
I drop the connection and stop taking up all the airwaves.
On that note, I think I'm going to make another weak move and accidentally open my brain to the world's psychic maelstrom. Because, yeah, Faye is just, really, really looking for some information. She's desperate, and there's sort of this unstable bleed in her room and a psychic instability, and she's just gonna, she's grasping at straws. Anything she can get, any hint. So yeah, go ahead, Maelstrom. Hit me with your best shot.
There's nothing to hit you with.
Oof.
I mean, Diamond is skilled at this. Diamond is used to this. Diamond's able to tune out the noise. And to the extent that you're able to tune out the mental screams of the people around you in the bar, all you hear out there is even more quiet. It's like Diamond knows there should be noise, and there isn't. Something unusual is happening.
Okay, yeah. Fei-Jin somehow manages to go pale even underneath the makeup. And I think as Diamond walks back in, I'm going to send you a very scared look.
I think that would actually be a nice place to jump to another scene.
Sure.
That knowing look that we exchange.
Yeah.
I wonder if I should start out not even in the Enclave yet.
I'm
out
curious
there.
about giving you. Well, you could be out there. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah. Okay, all right.
What was your suggestion?
Oh well, at some point when you are in the Enclave, I think I need to you are look and see if you're be here or not by my high standards. But I like this idea of you being out there. But what do you like? Where are you?
I'm headed for the Enclave. I know where it is. I've been told that there's somebody there who can reprogram nanobots, and that and also that this would be a good place to go and maybe find food and, shelter. Both of which, have been in pretty short supply lately. So yeah, I am outside of the, I don't know, city, whatever we want to call it.
Yeah, structure thing.
But going toward it.
Okay, so if you're really out there, then I'm
I was gonna say,
then I'm not sure who you're gonna play off of. You can pick some setting elements that come into play, but it might just be a scene for you.
It's not up to me. It's whoever wants to pick something up.
Let me see what we got.
I mean, I could easily deal with the Earth itself, the psychic maelstrom, the I don't know, probably not the digital realm, although maybe, since nanobots. Yeah, I mean, probably not society intact.
Would Sela ever go out this far to collect components?
I think with my prosthetics, I rely on other people to do this. Maybe your kids, for example.
Or we might go out there.
Is that why Angler was out there?
Might patrol the boundaries.
Yeah, and I mean, I think Sela will go down on the ground from time to time. Maybe there's something that she needs, a specific thing that she needs that she can't send somebody for, and she has to go find it herself. But it's infrequent. Because usually she can at least sketch it, so people know what they're looking for. If she's looking for some sort of joint or some sort of haptic receptor, something along those lines. But I think if she sees like a stranger approaching the enclave and Glover heading down, that might get her attention.
Okay, that sounds good.
A little bit harder to murder people when you're on the ground, isn't it?
I don't murder anybody. I execute people. Almost always the right people.
That's a fucking semantic argument.
No, it's the nature of the business. It's the job. It's not a pleasant job, which is why you can only trust it to the very best people.
Listen, exile gives them a chance.
Exile is a loose thread. Plant
You're
stuff.
a loose thread and a wild cannon.
What? No. I'm why we have safety.
I kind of want this conversation to happen in character. Do you think you're like?
Oh, this is in character.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think this is in character. Yeah. I've got some facile self rationalizations.
And in fact, Glover, do you think we're heading down together and having this
sure.
debate? Because you're
competing
like,
to see who gets to decide if this thing comes in.
Yeah, well, and maybe you're seeing this person as a threat before you even talk to them, and I'm saying I'm going to go down just to make sure you don't Glover the situation, because you Glover things up all the time.
That's really harsh, man. That's okay. Look. You'll see my even-handedness in action.
You only say even-handedness because you have two hands.
It's true. So, hey, kid. Who are you? Where are you coming from?
Or was that just me?
Yeah, sorry, that's the Mark. Yeah.
Okay. So actually, okay, the whole reason. Let's back up a little bit here.
Yeah.
I'm cool with going ahead with this, but let me.
Sure.
The whole reason I was like, I'm out there is to like see more of what was going on.
Right.
Um,
Okay. Yeah. So we don't have to do the confrontation right away.
Right. Yeah. Although, like, I'm cool with skipping to that if we don't want to. If we wanted to remain mysterious, what's going on?
I mean, you could be a ways off, like a mile or two off walking, because I mean, even that's going to take like, I mean, if you were running in top physical condition, 2 miles would take you 10, 15 minutes. So
And I am not. I am tired and half starved and have a bloodstream full of glitchy nanobots. So I'm probably not moving that fast.
So it could take you like 20 minutes, half hour. I might have just seen you on binoculars, like
Mhm.
this cloaked figure moving in the dust,
Yeah.
which means we have plenty of time to talk about your many moral and ethical failings, Glover.
Yeah, Earth itself would definitely be applicable here, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. What does the Earth itself want?
Yeah, so let's establish the desires for Earth itself then.
Yeah.
Since the psychic maelstrom craves so much intimacy, I think that the Earth itself craves the fall of man.
Reasonable. Look at what we've done to it.
And then I think that there is also a sense of Eden renewed or carrion. Which one is speaking to people?
I like strange new forms, but it doesn't. That has a lot of overlap with either of those.
I'm digging Eden renewed.
Okay.
I'm sure that we can squeeze those strange new forms into that, just because you mentioned that you were like bleeding out, basically, Lark. So I think that as you are crossing the sands and as you are making your way towards this door, the drops of blood that run down from your wound hit the ground, and the ground immediately kind of starts to shift and bloom and sprout up because the earth around us has acclimate itself to the taste of human, or whatever we call ourselves now, and it blooms especially brightly as you continue to feed it.
Does it only have a taste for blood or also for bodies?
Oh, for pretty much anything. It will harvest everything it can. And in fact, those tendrils of grass, if you stay in one place for too long, they start to reach up and wrap around you. And they're small. You haven't fed it that much. So you can break away very easily as you pull away. But every footfall, every step is dragging and plodding.
Yeah, this place is weird. And like the whole world is weird, but this place is weirder somehow. But like at this point, I'm closer to this big structure than I am to the slightly less weird area I just was before. Yeah, good point. The rich live so high up to avoid the mutant plants. Yeah, so I'm just kind of like, slogging along, slowed down by the grass that keeps trying to catch at me. Can I stumble across, what's their name? Angler?
Sounds good to me. Yeah.
Maybe you stumbled across Angler a while back and kind of trying to drag him with you, or you maybe put some kind of sled together or something.
Oh, that works. Yeah. Okay. Sure. Yeah, I've already got Angler on some kind of like just something like a car hood or something, flat like that, and dragging them, fighting the grass. Maybe I'm wounded because like they stabbed me.
Oh, that's fun.
This is why we need, protection to keep these categories different. You know who to stab, who not to stab.
We need protection because we need to be protected from people that are residents stabbed.
No. We just need categories. We need clean categories: friend, enemy, and we need a bright line distinction. Otherwise, things get muddy.
For fuck's sake, Glover, I'm the programmer here. You want me to code IFF into the nanobots? I'm not going to do that. Or if I do, I'm just going to code everybody as a friend and maybe code you as an enemy. Jesus.
That sounds... Well, ungrateful is just the start of the words that come to mind. But
I just want you to stop fucking killing people.
Look. Okay, one person that we killed was probably the wrong person, and I admit that. We're fallible, but we're the ones who have been entrusted with the use of violence. I mean, you're not just going to give that to just anybody.
So you're cool with killing somebody who didn't?
No,
who had
I'm not
done
cool
nothing.
with it. I'm not cool with it at all. I was 95% sure that this person was with a gang from out here, and
95%. That means you're only going to be wrong 5% of the time. Like this
no.
time.
Most of the time it's 100%, but this time there was a little bit of doubt. But I had to make a call. I don't like making these calls. I had to make a call. There's a lot of people out there who would want to eat us alive.
Someone had to make a call, so I made it.
Yeah. What? Wait, you have a problem with that? Look, we can leave. We can go somewhere else. The Dragonflies, and you can see how you like it, being the one to have to make these calls.
Listen,
I don't want that for you. I don't want to wish that on you.
Oh, so you're protecting us. You're protecting us from the harshness of the world.
Yeah.
You need somebody as a safety check. I mean, you need somebody like a safety, like on a gun, so that you don't go off half cocked.
Well, now we're talking. I'm open to this. Yeah. Who'd you have in mind?
Oh God, I don't even know. Have to be somebody a whole lot less murdery.
It's a tough question, though, isn't it?
Who should act as a second? Hey, I know that somebody should.
Okay, all right. No, I'm open to this. We're making this society, as we go. We make the rules, so we can talk about that.
This is the first time you've ever been open to a discussion like this. This is growth, Glover. I'm proud of you.
Let's give this kid a close look, though. I'm not killing anybody. I'm just saying that they might not be allowed to come in.
Do you have binoculars, or are you going to point your rifle with the scope at them again?
No. We can wait for them to get closer. It's fine.
You think they're in earshot yet?
Hey, kid. Hey, get over here. What are you dragging? Kids, they don't listen.
Hey. I think this is somebody from your place. Like limping and staggering along here with this trail of plants coming up in the wake of the thing I'm dragging.
Oh.
God damn it. Somebody's bleeding.
Oh, God. I hate it when the blood happens and the plants come up and all that.
I mean, it's really pretty, but it's just like, God, it's so gross.
We're going to have to get the flamethrowers out again. We need that safety zone.
At least you and I both agree on that.
I think I'm going to pick up the outlying gangs.
Oh, boy.
And for their desires, I think I'm going to pick Splendor and Unspoken Fealty.
Okay.
At least you didn't say mutant blood, because the Earth wants that. Everything wants blood.
And here I thought they were going to be cannibals. So this is an improvement.
You say that now.
Yeah, well, I mean, everything wanting to eat us would be bad than only some things wanting to eat us.
I think as Lark moves forward, You notice there are some sort of, you took them from some sort of like growth, some mutant plant dangling from some windows and up a few stories, but you notice they're like they're moving as you pass, and you see there's sort of like glinting glass that's sort of tracking you, and you realize they're cameras.
Great.
In the
Glover,
plants? Or,
Yes.
Uh-huh.
did you bring your rifle?
Always.
Can you take out those cameras?
I can try. I don't like to use up a lot of bullets. Sure, yeah. So I'll. Now I have no tokens, so I can. Yeah.
I can fix that for you. Well, can I fix that for you real quick? I wonder. What's my lure? When someone comes to you with something precious that needs fixing, they gain a token. Maybe you're having a problem with your scope, like it's slightly off kilter.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, just the whole the scope, but the trigger mechanism also, which is some sort of nanobot thing that that my finger sort of slots into. It's also needs fixing. So yeah, if you could whack that together for me, that'd be great.
Yeah, and I'll just kind of curse under my breath and pull out a screwdriver and a wrench and a tool with a small monitor on it. Makes some blipping and bleeping like dee noises. And you see me make like 2 turns of the screw, and this device plugs into a port on your rifle, which is interesting because the stock is old-fashioned wood. But then you see like some shifting metamaterials in the trigger guard mechanism and the trigger mechanism. And you realize that's actually what it's plugging into.
Hmm.
And I hand it back to you and say, try it now. It should be functional until I can really fix it upstairs.
Awesome. I recognize that because this is Dream Askew and not like Apocalypse World, there isn't actually a move for shooting at a surveillance device. So I'm just going to do that.
Yeah.
And
I hear that shot and like immediately dive for cover and like bring the thing I was pulling angler on like up as a shield.
And I yell out, "Kid, just stay still. There's cameras."
Yeah, so there is the regular move, take action, leaving yourself vulnerable, which is kind of what you've done.
Pretty much.
yeah, that's true. Yeah,
And so your aim is true, and the bullet just cleaves straight through the iris of the lily-looking flower that had the camera in it. And there's a small shattering of glass, and a leaf gets blown into the wind and cascades over the sand. And in that same instance, all of the growth around that area seems to recede within to the earth and then leaps up around where the vine was and tries to capture the empty air as if there was a person there. And when the vines don't wrap around anything, you see the grass retreat back into the earth, and it starts to work its way out. Because now it's seeking. Because now it knows there's something out here that means it harm. And it's going out in little rings, and one of those ripples is heading toward Lark, and the other is heading towards y'all.
Yeah, and I'm currently like curled up on the ground next to this unconscious person who stabbed me. And
I think we've got about 5 minutes before we're all ensnared.
And Glover, you got to run out there and get him. And I start moving my prosthetic leg, and you can see that the knee, it's okay to walk on, but if it's not going to handle any kind of impact.
No,
like
this is
can't run.
Totally what I do. No problem. Yeah, I'm going to run out there. Okay, we got to go. We got to go right now. All right, all right. Let's. Can you run? Can
Kind of. The
I'll carry the kid.
Okay, cool. Yeah, let's.
Okay. Fireman carry, and I'm not a big guy, so this is hard. But I figure I'm better off than you. I had breakfast, and we got to get back into the girders, into the metal, into the elevator shaft, into the concrete, past where this thing can't go.
Okay.
Quick question, Lark. Did you bring your dog out here?
Yeah, the dog has been running kind of ahead, I think. The dog is probably like already halfway there.
Okay. I think as you're heading back towards the girders, like something goes flying out from like a window or something, and it hits the ground, and the vines come out and swarm it, and you see like before it's like swarmed that it was just looks like some small bones, chicken or pigeon or something, and voice calls out, "Yeah, they move pretty fast, don't they? Especially when you do a stupid thing like kill one of our tame cameras, don't they?"
Okay, so it's the other gang.
Yeah.
One of the other gangs. And the bone comes from the girders?
Between you and the girders, yeah. Someone threw it out from some windows over there.
Okay, well, don't fucking spy on us.
Hey, this is our place. These are our cameras. You came to our place and smashed our stuff.
We are still going to have a conversation about this. Okay, first we got to get to safety. This is so much taking action, leaving myself vulnerable. I can't have a conversation while I'm carrying somebody. So, yeah. So they can say whatever they want.
Okay, I think as you're heading towards back to the girders, yeah, some of the gang come out into the open, and they're all kind of they look kind of like night vision goggles, except with some like more than the two eyes, some extra ones strapped on, and the one who looks like the leader has like a bandolier of camera lenses across the front. And it's just like, hey, no, this is our place. We know these routes better than anyone. You want to get back before the plants get you. We need to be paid.
So, quick question. Does me asking Glover to run out and help Lark and Angler count as asking Glover to solve one of my biggest problems?
I think so.
Sure.
It's a big problem at the time.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me see if I have a strong move.
Actually, I said the dog was halfway there. I think the dog is like running up to Sella.
Okay. I want to spend that token immediately to decipher the hidden logic of the troubling situation. Because it doesn't feel like they're looking for money. So what is this gang actually looking for?
You see them standing, they're like facing Lark and Glover, but you see a lot of them keep looking back over their shoulders towards the dog. Like most of their attention is towards the dog. And I think you probably know out here in the wastes, like a regular unmutated animal is pretty rare and fairly valuable.
Yeah, I yell out, "Hey! If you're nice about it, we'll let you pet the dog."
The leader with the bandoliers like looks back at you, glances back, like, you smashed one of our cameras. You riled up those plants. It'll take them days to settle back down.
I'll buy you a beer too.
I'm gonna put the kid down and shoulder my rifle. That's the carrot. This is the stick. I think I still have a token that I haven't spent.
You
So
also
I
have
can-
the
very.
token that you got.
You also
Sorry,
have
what?
only a few minutes before the vines, as the vines start to immediately wrap themselves around Angler, who is bleeding out profusely.
I'll grab Angler and like start carry/dragging them toward the girders.
And I'll yell out again, come on, we don't have a lot of time. Don't be douchebags about this. Come on, just come on in. I'll buy you a beer. You can hang out for a day or two until this settles down.
And you won't be dead because I won't kill you.
God damn it, Glover, stop making things difficult.
You know, you could only see like the gang leader's mouth because from like the nose up they're covered in cameras, but you can still read like the clear glare at you somehow.
How many of them are there?
I think I don't know. Let's say 8.
Oh, we can take them. We can take them.
Glover.
Just stop saying that quietly.
The leaders are gonna turn back to you, Sella, and be like, okay, fine, we'll go with you, but that better be one friendly dog.
I've never met it. I'm assuming it is. It's a dog.
So yeah, I think the outlying gangs are appeased for the moment if the Earth wants to do anything.
I mean, let's see. Did you just?
I have any big moves to apply here? Not really. I don't think so.
It's always one of those things because it's like, technically, the fiction has been set up that you could drag this person to safety. So
Yeah, I mean the entire time I'm just keeping using the same regular move. Take action, leaving yourself vulnerable. And I'm just like trying to drag this person faster than the plants, while encouraging the plants with both their blood and mine.
that's it. Yeah. So I actually have an idea. And so yeah, you're dragging Angler along, and they are prone and basically like unconscious as this is happening. And so you happen to notice that like the vines are pretty much snapping off as soon as they wrap around them, except there's one that's started to embed itself in their rib, and it's started to sprout. And it's now weaving its way up Angler and trying to worm its way into your wounds as well. So
That's horrifying. I
mean, you can totally still pull the both of you to safety, and just Angler's probably going to need a little bit of pruning before they get any better.
I think I paused long enough to like try to break it off. I don't think I have a move.
I have a strong move of get yourself or your gang out of harm's way. I don't know if you all count as my gang though, because I actually have a gang. I don't want to just get me out of harm's way. So
could all the people that are around you count as your gang for the moment?
if others are okay with that, then sure. Yeah. I will spend that token and we will get the hell away from these plants.
Oh, good. Good.
Yeah, I think that works. I think that you totally are. You managed to, now that the rival gang is not paying attention to you, you manage to go over there, and between the two of you, you carry Angler across the threshold onto the steel pavement and stone paving stones where there is no sand for vines or things to creep up. There is still something in like that cut on their side, or that wound on their side. But I'm sure that there's probably someone who is going to be able to take care of that later. And I'm sure that Fei Jin will most definitely want to pay the bill for that.
So we have a situation with this plant. It's taking root. Doesn't look good.
Let's get him upstairs and into my nursery.
Okay. All right. I assume
I
the
said-
rival gang pets the dog. Is that what
Yeah.
As
you're
we're on
saying?
like the elevator platform heading up.
Yeah,
But,
yeah.
but they don't get to. You can buy them a beer, but they don't get to come into our bar. That's
Of course they get to come into our bar. Where did you learn
God.
hospitality?
Are you just letting anybody in?
Just letting, excuse me, did
Weird
they not
camera
just,
guy.
did they not just help you? Doesn't that mean that they should be able to like sit
They did
in
not
the,
help us. They forbore from killing us. And I think this is a kind of distinction that really is in my wheelhouse.
Okay.
I think
the distinction that's in my wheelhouse is, generally speaking, if you treat people like people, they behave like people. And by you, I mean you. And by people, I mean everyone who is not you.
all right. Well, let's bring a strange gang of people into our bar and let them get drunk. Just see what
I
happens.
said nothing about getting drunk. I said I'd buy them a beer.
As you bicker on the elevator ride back up, do we want to take another break? Meet
Sure.
back up at past and
Sure.
Sounds good.
All right. Puckett, still here?
Yep.
Great. So we got about a half hour left. I think it might be time to head into a climax for the session. With, a gang of people coming up the elevator, and we've got that conflict in the Enclave of barriers to access with, people. The Enclave sees people trying to stratify the Enclave and hoard resources. Maybe there's some sort of conflict, or people aren't happy to see a bunch of, Outlander gangs coming in, or gang coming in. Just a suggestion.
Who wants to play that?
Things.
Who's not in the elevator?
Right.
Faye isn't there yet, and she moves kind of slow, so Diamond could get there before her.
Plus, Faye needs to pick up the entire cost of all this, so.
Yeah.
Diamond can totally, there was this whole thing where, I sensed that Angler was wounded, and then I sensed all of this confluence happening below. So I kind of dashed over there, and I'm assuming that at the gate there's probably some of Glover's own gang members, maybe, who are being like, "But boss, why are you letting these delinquents in," or some shit like that.
Yeah, and the outlying gangs has the move, put a gun in someone's hands. I think a few of your gang and a few other people in the area have sort of quietly gathered up weapons and guns and stuff.
This will go great. This is fine. Totally fine.
I'm just gonna sort of hide in the corner of the elevator. I'm sitting on the floor of the elevator in the corner, trying to contain my blood and because it's full of nanites, and I haven't bothered to tell anyone that yet. But I don't necessarily. That doesn't mean I want people exposed to it.
Okay. So I'm sorry. So we've got my gang there, and we've got all of us are in the elevator. We've got Diamond, and we're bringing. So I'm sorry. We're bringing up members of this rival gang to come have a drink in our bar.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry. And what's the climactic face-off? The fact that my gang's trigger happy.
And I think so you can go.
I was going to say, they're following your orders, and they're basically saying, we're not letting them in, even though you're telling us to. I think that's the point Kyle was getting at.
Okay, look, we can settle this, but there was a deal made. We can settle this later. If they step out of line, you can hack them to pieces, but you can drop them off the side of the path.
They're not getting hacked to pieces.
Okay. I'm just saying if something further happens. But I'm just trying to say we made a deal. There was a dog they got to pet, and they have a beer. That's the deal. You got to honor the deal, because that's what we do, right? Honorable. So nobody go off half cocked. They have one drink, and then they get the hell out of here.
The two of you bicker like an old married couple. Diamond walks in.
It's only because he's so unreasonable.
I'm just not even gonna.
What seems to be the problem here? And can your resident Iris help you sort things out for a fee, of course?
Maybe can you see what evil lurks in the hearts of men?
If I care enough to, sure.
We could use some reassurance that this camera gang, they don't have nefarious intent.
Nefarious? They're not vampires, Glover. Jesus.
I mean, if these fine people consent to letting me crawl around in their minds to put your fears at ease, I'm sure that I could be able to do that. But isn't it fair that maybe you should also let me in so I can make sure, like, so I can reassure them that you don't mean them harm?
This is our turf. You don't know. You don't have to be in my head. It's
And I
really
stand back
optional.
and I cross my arms and say, "Yeah, Glover, you why don't you let Diamond crawl around in there for a little bit? Huh? Fair's fair."
This is a need to know space in here.
Don't they
don't
need to know that you don't intend them any harm?
Yeah, don't they,
Oh.
Glover?
God.
That's
Okay.
fair.
Fine. Okay. You boxed me in. But
I'm going to take this as an invitation to use my psychic gifts on you, which is my lure. So you can gain a token from that.
Oh, that's nice. Thank you.
Yeah, and then, is there something that I could do? I kind of need a token in order to do this without hurting people. I know I puffed it all up.
You got anything I can fix?
You could give me an opportunity to prove myself.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
You know, didn't you already get that opportunity to prove yourself?
You did save Angler.
Yeah, so you should probably already have, there's probably already one token for somebody.
I mean, whoever that probably would have been
Agent.
Clever.
Oh, Glover.
I would think.
Well,
or not. I don't know.
I mean,
You did get
think,
closest.
Yeah. Okay, sure. What am I going to do with all these tokens?
Spend them at some point.
Yeah.
Stockpile them and go ham in the last session.
No. I'm gonna. But what we're really trying to get to is where Diamond can use his gifts without actually scrambling any eggs.
So I have an idea. So one of my weak moves is experience psychic flashbacks. And Glover, you were so reticent to allow me into your head that it sounds like there's some backstory here. So maybe if I start crawling around in your brain again, we have some sort of like horrible flashback to that.
Yeah.
And then I'm able to pull it off.
Yeah, absolutely. I was probably drunk. Maybe I was a little out of control. I don't know.
What if? Ooh, how about this? Okay, so this is very not great for. This doesn't set Diamond up to be a very healthy person at all. Maybe you did something like really scary, like at that point, like maybe you were like flying off the handle. Maybe you almost killed somebody. Like, well, you kill people all the time. Maybe you almost killed them.
No, right. Okay, yeah. And I don't think I get drunk often. I think that's like a no-go area for me. I'm kind of a control freak. But yeah, maybe I nearly dropped you off the side of the walk. And you had to
had
control, basically, or something.
Mm-hmm.
Or show me some trauma that disabled me.
Ooh, you know what it is? I think that I flashed through your memory like the faces of like every single person you'd pushed off the ledge, like simultaneously, all at once. And the trauma there is also that now I remember all of the people you'd killed up to that point.
That's great. Then we're linked. Yeah. Okay.
This keeps getting heavier and heavier. Oh my
It
god.
is. So then do we both flash back to this?
Yeah, I think that there's probably like once the like mental link is established, like I think that that's like the first thing that we both think of, and then we kind of like relive that moment and like the overwhelming like feelings of that, but only for a moment.
And then you get to take an inventory of this warehouse.
Yes. Yeah. The mostly empty warehouse. At least that's what Diamond would say if that comment. No, you know what? That comment actually did pass between us, like telepathically.
Yeah, totally.
Like you said something along the lines of that, and then I was like, yeah, the mostly empty warehouse. But then
Getting owned in my own brain.
and then so at that point, I think I'm able to like take the hand of the rival gang leader, and then just really quickly flashes to let you both know that the other one doesn't mean any harm. Although I guess I should ask whoever's holding the outlying gang's playbook if the rival gang really does not mean any harm.
They don't mean any harm, but they're not planning to leave either. Because some of their cameras have been seeing, I don't know, something weird has been happening in the outer edges of the wasteland and getting closer, and cameras go dead, people don't come back, they're running, and they don't plan to leave.
So I think that that information just kind of floods into both Diamond and Glover's minds. And the rival gang leader also knows that you know now, because they totally were able to dive into your good intentions.
Which is to say, I don't mean them any harm, but I don't want them to stick around either.
Mm-hmm.
So if we all know all of that, then that's interesting.
Yeah. And then I break hands and I step back and I say, my democratic duties have been finished. You'll be receiving my bill. Anything else I can help you with?
Thanks, I think.
I mean, you can help me drag the wounded to my nursery so I can patch them up.
I believe I will have to tell Feijin I will be raising my rate, but sure.
Yeah, she's getting the bill for all of this. I mean, she's got her person wounded. This other kid, what's her name?
I'm Lark, and why do you keep calling me kid? Is that just what people call people here?
Pretty much.
Okay.
So, Lark dragged
Could be
Angler
worse.
back. Lark dragged Angler back, so I've got to patch up Angler. I mean, it's only right to patch up Lark since Lark brought our people back, well, our person. So, yeah, Feijin gets the bill for that too. And this gang helped us, so send her the bar tab.
Well, in that case, I think I might pop back and have a few more drinks.
After you help me get these two to the nursery so I can patch them up properly.
Of course, Sella.
Oh, Diamond, you're a dear. What would I do without you?
Absolutely no idea. I'd prop this place up.
You really do. I mean, Glover and I would have been bickering out here for at least 20 minutes if you hadn't stepped in.
He could have bled out.
Right?
Point to the glare at Glover.
I'm just a person. I'm just a guy. Okay, so Lark, you're going to the nursery to get patched up?
I guess so. Yeah.
Okay, I want to buy you a drink later. Welcome
Okay.
you to
Yeah. Yes. Good.
I don't know if I'll end up being that first person who gives you a drink, but I'm in the running.
Seems like.
And okay, this is good. Then we've got this gang, and we're gonna buy them each a drink, like 8 drinks, and have a meeting
Nice
of the mind.
civil conversation.
Yes, totally. Well,
Civil
now,
by my definitions, not yours, Glover.
this one guy, I feel like I know him already because he's been in my head and I've been in his. So that's good.
When Feijin arrives and is told how much she owes and to who, she, just kind of, exasperated sigh. Fine. Engler's alive, right? She looks at you, Lark.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, he was last I checked.
And they'll stay alive, Sella?
Near as I can tell. I just got to get these roots dug out.
I'll get you what you need and what you're owed, all of you. And I'm gonna do a strong move, call in a timely favor from a power. Actually, I'll bring out supplies that no one knew I had to just pay all of you right on the spot. I'm the rich one.
Yeah.
And with that, I think, do we want to call it a session?
That's a pretty good stopping point.
Sure.
Yeah, feels like it.
Great. I'll turn off the recording and we can do stars and wishes. Alrighty. Oh, duh.